The Australian government has recently emerged as the largest spender on Facebook ads in the country. This comes even as it pushes forward with legislation that aims to combat the spread of misinformation. The proposed legislation could impose hefty fines on social media companies for hosting allegedly harmful content. Despite the concerns about misinformation, the government has been a significant client of Facebook, spending large amounts on advertising in the lead-up to recent elections and other public initiatives. The Albanese administration remains a prominent advertiser on Facebook, with its investments reaching new heights. Between August and November 11, 2024, the federal government spent $388,711 on 92 Facebook ads, averaging $4,225 per ad. This expenditure is part of a broader government strategy to engage with the public through social media platforms. In addition to this, the Department of Health and Aging spent $229,450 on 90 Facebook ads, ranking 9th in ad spend, while the Department of Social Services ranked 29th, spending $72,349 on 67 ads. This is not a new trend. The Australian government has been investing heavily in Facebook ads for several years. For example, in 2020, the Australian Electoral Commission ranked 5th in ad spending, with a total of $354,346 on 276 ads. These numbers reflect the government's consistent use of social media as a tool for communication, even as it raises concerns about the potential harm caused by social media posts and their impact on the integrity of electoral processes. The Australian Labor Party has also been a major player in Facebook advertising, ranking as the second-largest spender over the past 4 years with a total of $3.79 million spent on over 5,500 ads. One of the most prominent campaigns was the Yes 23 campaign for the Aboriginal voice to Parliament. Despite spending $2.31 million on over 10,000 ads, the campaign faced a significant defeat in the October 2023 referendum, with 60% of Australians voting against the proposal. This led Yes campaigner Megan Davis to accuse the No campaign of spreading misinformation and disinformation. Interestingly, while the Australian government has spent significant amounts on Facebook ads, it has also ranked among the top spenders in terms of disclaimers. In the past 4 years, the government spent $157,764 on 352 ads marked with disclaimers, a clear attempt to provide transparency about the nature of the content being shared. The Department of Social Services ranked 13th in spending on disclaimer ads, spending $147,874 on 390 ads. At the same time, the Australian government is advancing legislation designed to tackle misinformation and disinformation online. The government's proposed bill, the Combating Misinformation and Disinformation Bill 2024, seeks to impose severe penalties on social media companies. Under this proposed legislation, social media platforms could face fines of up to 5% of their global revenue if the Australian Communications and Media Authority, ACMA, identifies posts that disrupt elections, contradict public health guidance, or incite hatred against specific groups based on race, religion, or gender identity. Communications Minister Michelle Rowland recently addressed these concerns in a speech at the Sydney Institute. She emphasized that the government could not be serious about online safety and democracy if it continued to tolerate harmful misinformation and disinformation. The government maintains that the proposed bill does not give ACMA direct authority to remove online content but instead requires social media companies to maintain records of misinformation and disinformation. Minister Rowland argued that these reforms would bring much-needed transparency and accountability to digital platforms. She emphasized that digital platforms would be required to implement systems and processes to address seriously harmful, false, misleading, or deceptive information. However, opposition politicians have strongly criticized the bill. Shadow Communications Minister David Coleman has called it one of the worst pieces of legislation proposed by an Australian government. He claims that the bill is overly subjective and poses a serious threat to free speech. Coleman warned that the legislation could create a chilling effect on free expression, with government regulators determining what can and cannot be said online. He argued that such a move is entirely unacceptable in a democracy and vowed that the coalition would continue to oppose the legislation. In conclusion, the Australian government's stance on social media is clearly evolving, with a focus on balancing advertising efforts with the need to regulate harmful content. The proposed Combating Misinformation and Disinformation Bill 2024 is a major step in this process, but it has sparked significant debate over its potential impact on free speech and digital freedom. As always, the situation remains fluid, and we'll continue to monitor developments closely. Thank you for tuning in to Aussie Pulse. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the latest news and developments. Until next time.